Welcome. So everybody's been talking about the Blushda. And there's a million lessons here on YouTube that talk about the Blushda. But what I want to do in this lesson is take it to the next level and show you how to apply it to all different accent groupings so you can really mix it around in all different patterns. That way you're not just a slave to that same position that you see everybody doing. That's what's coming up next. Let's give it a shot. Now, if you feel like taking your drumming to the next level, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, before we get into this, I do feel like I need to explain what the Blushda is. Now, I'm not exactly sure who coined that term. The first drummer I ever heard do it in that application was Tony Williams. I'm not sure if he's the guy that actually invented the lick, but since then I've heard it from guys like Vinnie Colaiuta and Virgil Donati, Steve Smith. I do know basically it's a variation on a rudiment, which is the flam drag. The main difference being that the flam drag alternates, where the Blushda stays to the same hand. Now that right there is a left leading Blushda, and that's the way you most commonly see it on the drum set on a righty setup, because it gives you a nice flam moving across your sound sources. You could also, of course, do it righty. But for this lesson, I'm going to keep it in that lefty position because it works better on the righty kit. So to break it down, we have a left flam, which means the left stick is higher, followed by a left drag. Now, if you're older like me, you learned this as a rough or a half drag. But recently, the Percussion Art Society has deemed that a rough is now a drag. So that's what we're going to call it today. Honestly, I could give a shit about terminology as long as you could play the rudiment. So you have a left flam followed by a left drag. So it's two of the same stickings in a row. And what you're going to do is you're going to make this into a group of three. So basically, you're going to play a flam, rest, drag, and then repeat. Flam, rest, drag, flam, rest, drag, flam, rest, drag, flam, rest, drag, flam. You notice you get this shuffle or bouncing pattern. Now, because it's a group of three, it'll fit right into triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1. You could also make it into 16th notes or any other rhythm, and it'll give you that elastic vibe. So if I play them at 16th notes, you get 1 E and a 3 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and, which again is the more common way that you see people play it. But you can honestly do this with any rhythm. It's just a group of three over that rhythm. Now the challenge I have with this rudiment is everyone seems to play it as a group of three, which is fine. Sounds great, feels great. But you know, after a while, it becomes like the same thing that you see everybody playing. So what I wanted to do was turn this into an exercise where I could stretch it into more vocabulary. What I like to do is form a concept around it. This is what I just did recently with my flittle lesson. I took the idea of a flittle, which is essentially a flam tap, and put it against all the groupings in certain stickings. And what I love about the groupings is it puts whatever sticking you're working on in every single position throughout the beat, so it permutates itself. It moves throughout the time, which is awesome because you get a lot of bang for your buck when you're practicing. So my rule of thumb is anytime I think of a sticking, especially a short sticking like a rudiment, I put it through the groupings because it puts me in every single odd position, instead of just learning it one way. Now, if you don't understand what I mean by groupings, I did do a lesson on that, and I implore you to go back and check that one out for this one to make a little bit more sense. But basically, the accent groupings are going to take you around every kind of permutation or every accent position that you could possibly do inside of a sticking. So if we keep the rhythm in 16 notes, and then basically we put a Blushda on the accent, you get some very cool phrasing. Since it's a 3-note sticking, I'm going to start with 16th notes in groups of 3, which is also 4:3. And that's going to move you backwards across the count. 1 that's and a E and a 1 that's and a E and a 1 that's and a E and a 1. So that's a group of 3. What if you want to turn around and do a group of 4 16th notes? Well, very simply, since this is based on an odd grouping, my solution, and this is not the only solution, but it's mine because I don't want to have to alternate it, is to add a bass drum. So I do a regular Blushda, and then I'm going to add a bass. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember that second note is a rest. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be a standard Blushda plus 1. 1, 2, ready, go. Now you notice how that evens out the time. That makes it sound like it's right on the beat. It doesn't permutate. Now that's the only challenge with the even groupings is that you have to permutate them yourself. So now what you have to do is you have to figure out all the permutations that work into a group of 4. So now to permutate that, we're going to take the flam and move it over to the E. Sounds like this. 1, 2, ready, go. On the end, ready, go. and on the Ready, go. Oh. Now moving on, let's try a Blushda in a group of 5, which is going to be your normal Blushda, which is 3 notes, followed by 2 singles. And since it's an odd number, you don't have to alternate it and you don't have to add a foot. So that sticking is going to be flam, rest, drag, right, left. Flam, rest, drag, right, left. When I split it, flam, rest, drag, right, left. Flam, rest, drag, right, left. 1 E and a E, 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 1. Up the tempo, it'll sound like this. 1, 2, ready, and. Moving on to a group of 6. Now a group of 6 is interesting because it is an even number, which means now you'll take that same group of 5 that we just created and add a bass, which will make it an even group of 6. So it's a Blushda 5 plus 1 on the kick. Flam, rest, drag, right, left, bass. Flam, rest, drag, right, left, bass. Flam, drag, right, left, bass. Flam, drag, right, left, bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. Let's take that one up to tempo and play it in 3/4. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. Okay, moving on. A group of 7 moves backwards through the count just like groups of 3s do, but it's going to be a whole lot longer. So the sticking will be a flam, rest, drag, right, left, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1. 1 E and Andy, 1 E and Andy, 1 E and Andy, 1 E and Andy, and 1. At 16 notes, it's going to feel like this. 1, 2, ready, go. 1 E and a 2 E, that's a E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E, that's a E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1. And finally, a group of 8, nice and even. The sticking is going to be the same thing we just did as the group of 7, but we're going to add a bass to it. So it's going to be a Blushda 7 plus 1. So that sticking is going to be left flam, rest, left drag, right, left, bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. In time, it's going to sound like this. 1, 2, ready, go. Keep in mind, for the 6 and for the 8, I only did it in the first permutation. But yes, there are 6 permutations you could do for the group of 6. There are 8 permutations you could do for the group of 8. But if I start going through all of that, it's going to make this lesson really long. So just keep that in mind. At any even grouping, you have to figure out all the permutations and then pick the ones that you like and make them part of your playing. Now, groups of 8 is usually as far as I go when I study my groupings, because you could take this to the moon and you could keep going on groupings forever. But the challenge is, after groups of 8, they start getting long. It starts feeling like a very long, drawn-out phrase. So to take it past groups of 8, I tend to compound, or I put the groupings together. So I'll do, say, a group of 4 with a group of 5. That'll give me a group of 9. So that'll feel like this. 1 E and a 1 E and a E, 1 E and a 1 E and a E, 1 E and a 1 E and a E, 1 E and a 1 E and a E, 1. And by taking the stickings I just showed you and compounding them together, you could add all kinds of different versions if you want to take the groupings longer. Like a 6 and a 3 will give you a 9. A 5 and a 4, like I just did, that'll also give you a 9. A 7 and a 3 will give you a 10. So will a 6 and a 4. So obviously, if you do the math, you could figure out all the different ways you could put these different stickings together, stack them, and make all kinds of really cool over-the-bar grouping phrases. Now, what does this do for your playing? This unlocks that Blushda sticking. This unlocks you from that same mundane phrasing that everyone seems to be using and allows you to just riff with it. What I like to call coast. What's coasting? Now again, I did a whole lesson on coasting, so you should go check that out. So like I tell my students with every single sticking concept that I take them through, once you've practiced the exercise and you've drilled these out and you've held them and really get them under your hands, the next step is to put away the exercise, put away the technique, and just try to make music with it. And for that, let's take it to the kit. Do you have any cool ways of applying the Blushda around the kit? If you do, let me know in the comments. So if you took something away from this video, you feel like you learned something or got something out of it, consider subscribing to the channel. So I rely on drummers like you to spread the word. And if you have friends that are drummers, share it. And if you really want to go out of your way, you could also click the thumbs up and give us a like. So thanks for checking out the video, hope you dug it, and until next time, remember to always practice with purpose. See you next time.